Anchor is a fantastic platform for podcasting. It's so simple. It's remarkable. Even I could do it, and it's free distribution, free recording, easy, simple, elegant to use framework, great tools. Um, if you're going to pick one podcasting forum, platform, it should definitely be Anchor. I highly recommend it.
Paying it backwards. So there's a famous expression, as you know, paying it forward, which basically means someone does something nice for you, and you do something nice for somebody else to kind of make up for it, or reciprocity. And a lot of times the idea is basically to find a stranger, just like open a door for somebody or pay for somebody's meal. That's kind of like pay it forward. But I believe it's something that is somewhat similar and somewhat different. I'm not saying that's a bad idea at all, but I have an idea that I think is even better, which I call pay it backwards. So let's explain what that is. I'm laughing because it's like you probably never heard of pay it backwards before. But basically, here's how it goes, if I can explain it well. Because sometimes the idea that you have in your mind and the way that you live, to actually put it into words is not so easy, but I'll do my best. But anyway, so I feel that kind of, for whatever reason, I think there's a lot of soul reasons for this. I've had some people treat me really badly. I think that, part of it is my own fault because you have to take responsibility for your life. I let myself be a doormat, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But it's not an even thing. I mean, a lot of people have treated me well, but I think I put up with way too much. Like Tony Robbins says, you get what you tolerate. I tolerated way too much. Not anymore, but I mean, I find that people don't even challenge me that much anymore because I just have a different mindset. I'm not really attracting, difficult challenges as much. I mean, difficult, but in a much different way. More difficult in terms of like growth-oriented and feeling happy. But anyway, be that as it may, as it says. So one thing I've learned from all that kind of suffering in life is kind of like more compassion. And the way that it comes out is that I'm able to be more compassionate to others, but still with it appropriate, to my role. Like, if I'm a teacher, or if I'm a writer, or, if I'm a CEO, you have to hold people accountable because you can't run a business. But I think I'm able to do that in a way that has more insight, perhaps, than if I hadn't gone through some of these hard times and, punishing my people. So let me give a couple of examples for that. So say you have a friend or a relative or a boyfriend or girlfriend or ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, and they were kind of hard on you. So if you develop and grow as a person, the way that you can pay it backwards is when you come in contact with that person again, maybe you don't let them abuse you anymore, but you don't abuse them. So it's paying it backwards because you're treating them better than they treated you, but you're also kind of elevating the relationship to a higher place, because if they had power over you still, if you let them have power, or if life put them in power over you, they would totally just, ream you, because that's the past history and that's what they have a tendency to do towards you. But when things have changed and you are either equals or you have a little bit more responsibility over them, you don't like say, tit for tat, I'm going to, do to you exactly what you did to me. Because they do say that an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. But at the same time, you do, be appropriate to your role, and you don't let them abuse you anymore. So the idea of paying it backwards is that the relationships that you've had that have been unequal or harmful or even abusive, sometimes you have to exit those relationships and not be in them. But if you're still in them for whatever reason, because, there's a lot of different reasons why you could be, or even just in your mind, if you're not in them, that you pay it backwards by you're better to them than they were to you. You're better to them than they would be if the roles were reversed. That's for sure. But at the same time, it's like a totally different relationship. It's like you're not beholden to them anymore. You're not taking their abuse. It's kind of a fine line if you kind of interpret, what I'm saying. And the funniest thing, funny is like a strange word, but people that are abusive to you, when you get a little bit higher in your life and they actually have to be accountable to you or equals with you, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe how hard you are with me. And in your mind, you know that you're 10 times easier on them because you have compassion for them because you suffered than they were to you, and that they would continue to be to you if they had the opportunity to be. Because people rise in life, I think, based upon being appropriate. Like, you can't just, CRAP over everyone and have a great life. It doesn't work that way. Some people think that, like, people just claw their way to the top, but nobody wants to be around someone that is just totally selfish, so it doesn't really, work that way. But you do have to hold people accountable, but you have to hold yourself, much more accountable and to a higher standard than you hold anybody else to. So the funny part, like I'm saying, is that you have compassion for people and you never try to hurt anyone, but you don't let them hurt you. And they're always saying to you, oh, you're so hard, you're so hard, you're so hard. It's only because they got used to punching on you and beating on you like a punching bag. And there's a saying here that I want to think of if I could think of it. But, oh, yeah. So, like, it's always the bullies that, like, start crying, when someone actually stands up to them. Oh, you're so hard, you're so hard. It's because they're a bully. I mean, you see it in politics, you see it in life. It's like people are, like, traumatizing other people. And then any time they're in a situation where they don't get their way, they're, like, going into the victim role. So paying it backwards just means, again, that it can be people or it can be strangers also, that you treat people appropriate to the situation, and you have compassion not to make sure that you never abuse or take advantage of anyone the way other people took advantage of you. But at the same time, you don't let bullies make you feel bad and shame you, because what happens is people that are bullies, they'll try to, like, take advantage of you overtly. But if you don't allow it, then they'll try to take advantage of you covertly, like through shame and guilt. They're like, oh, I can't believe you're being so hard. So you have to have very clear internal standards in your mind and review them and take feedback from other people. But people that are bullies, they'll try to bully you by putting you down and taking away your dreams and hurting you in different ways. And then if you evolve to the point where they can't do that, it's really kind of strange, but they'll try to shame you or they'll try to guilt you. Oh, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you did that. So you have to be a little bit immune to that, but you have to be compassionate at the same time. So hopefully, I don't feel like I fully explained this 100%, but I think you get the basic idea.